At the bottom of the poll, they are 10-1, second in the ACC, only a half game behind Pittsburgh. Florida State will play Wake Forest on Sunday. We are underway here from Durham between the Blue Devils and the Seminoles, and a starting dig for Florida State. A good block by Awokeniran, and away we go. That'll be a hitting error against Duke, and Florida State has the opening point.
Nice set by Mackenzie Cole, the libero there when the setter had to take the first ball, but swing just long from Lauren Klein, getting action on the right side tonight.
Serving will be Lily Tessier. She's a 4-year starter from Evangelical Christian, as the Blue Devils will get the point back right up front in the middle.
You see a great quick swing there from Lizzie Fleming. She's a freshman middle. That's her strength. She can go fast and hard in front of the setter.
And you told me before we went on air here that it's critical for Duke to take this first set if they want to have a shot to upset number 23.
The Blue Devils really need to start fast here against Florida State. They don't want to get down early.
Kenzie Smith with the service error. She's one of the 2 North Carolinians on this team, a product of North Raleigh Christian Academy. Cannot get the serve over the net there, and Florida State takes the lead at 2-1. The Seminoles do not have the all-time series against the Blue Devils, but they have won each of the last 5 and 8 out of the last 10 as a good dig from Smith sets up a spike and a kill for Lauren Klein of Bakersfield, California. She's the transfer out of Pacific.
That was a great hustle play from Kinsey there. As you can see, we've got a few keys up for Duke right here. The middles really need to focus on their blocking. They're second in the ACC in blocks, and Lizzie Fleming and Lily Cooper are a huge part of that. That's going to help slow down this potent FSU attack.
Gracie Johnson was denied by a good dig from Florida State. She'll get another chance here. And Florida State will score off of the block. And that's something FSU does so well, and it's led by Taryn Canute up front.
Right on cue, you see if Duke's second in the ACC, Florida State is first in the ACC in blocks. And Peyton Caffrey and Taryn Canute are really going to be heading up this team for Florida State. The other thing they need to focus on is ball control. If you want to use these big physical attackers, you need to pass well and you need to dig well and work it out in transition.
Sophomore Taylor Roberts serves for the Seminoles. Once again, a quality block keeps everything going for Florida State. Into the middle, Duke keeps the play going. Outside and just missing was Gracie Johnson once again. Johnson has 66 kills coming into this contest, but just misses wide there, 4-2 FSU.
Gracie Johnson's just a freshman, but she's seen big-time minutes so far this season, playing a lot of time in 6 rotations versus teams like Georgia and Oregon. She's going to need to have a really solid match for Duke out on the pin.
And Taylor Roberts with the service error will give the serve back to the Blue Devils at 4-3. Florida State looking a little shaky to begin. Neither team getting to their game in the first 7 points thus far.
No, neither team really in a rhythm here. You see Alex Springate just checked in for Duke. She seems to be playing in a defensive specialist role. Duke is going with the 5-1 with Camille Nazer here early. It paid off well versus Georgia. She attacked well at the net. Let's see if the same thing happens today.
Florida State will get the serve back. And this will be Jasmine Martin. She's the transfer from Minnesota, a junior, had 16 kills in the historic win for Florida State against the Golden Gophers, but sends the serve long, and Duke stays in at 5-4 Seminoles.
I watched that match, Florida State versus Minnesota, and it definitely seemed like Jasmine Martin was just playing with something to prove, but she's been really effective all year for Florida State.
Awokeniran giving high fives as she strides out to the far side. Peyton Schwantz will serve for the Blue Devils. Schwantz is an all-ACC Academic Honor Roll recipient. Battle at the net. Awokeniran wins it. She'll get a chance for a kill. A solid block on the outside once again as Lily Tessier is making her presence felt on the far side of the floor. Awokeniran does all she can just to get it back across the net. Play by Lily Cooper, but Florida State keeps it alive.
Great rally, great defensive rally going on here.
Awokeniran sends it over, and Florida State will have a chance. Out wide and a big dig by Duke. Awokeniran Canute once again dug out by the Blue Devils. Adia Wokaniran still can't get it down. Robert sends it long, and Duke wins the long rally.
When you have long rallies like that, they become statement points. Even though no point is worth more than the other, just momentum-wise, you feel like that's a big win for Duke here.
As we look at this one, just go long.
Just a little bit long over the block there. As a smart swing, just missed high hands.
Service error against the Blue Devils. That was Schwantz. Florida State retakes the lead at 6-5 as the teams go tit for tat, trading points here in this first set. Morgan Chacon to serve. She is one of the 2 players on this volleyball team for the Seminoles that also plays on the beach volleyball squad. Her sister Alyssa is also a member of that beach team. The play up front, but unable to keep it in bounds is Lily Cooper, and Florida State scores to make it 7-5. That beach volleyball team for Florida State won their conference championship, by the way, and Chacon's sister Alyssa, I believe it is also on that team.
They have a talented squad down there in Tallahassee on the beach and indoor as well.
Wokaniran.
It's a big time swing from Adia Wokaniran there, going off of the outside blocker's hand. We're seeing a few service errors here early from both Florida State and Duke. Seems like serving tough's probably a key for both of these teams in their scouting reports to get the other teams out of system, but you got to put the ball in bounds in order to be effective.
And when you're serving long, CJ, what is the fix to be able to get that ball down and in play?
Really, most of the time it's coming down to what your toss looks like, whether you're placing that ball back behind your head and you're getting up and underneath the ball.
Wokaniran goes cross court too far. Florida State with the largest lead of the set at 9-6.
Duke seems to be caught in a tough rotation. Florida State's doing a good job putting pressure on them, and this first contact isn't quite where they want it. You've got to want to see Duke side out right here, led by freshman Camille Nazer.
It's Madison Sullivan serving. Wokaniran denied of the kill, but Duke will win the point nonetheless.
Right on cue, freshman setter Camille Nazer makes a fantastic push from the far sideline. She muscles that ball all the way out to Adia Wokaniran, who has full range to swing away on that ball.
Blue Devils will have Mazer serve this one. Right in the middle. A great block by the Blue Devils.
There you see Lizzie Fleming and Adia Wokaniran team up for the big block there. It's crucial for Duke when Florida State is out of system for them to take advantage and finish the play.
Wokaniran came in having 10 total blocks in this game. Mazer again goes over. Not a whole lot of heat on that serve, and Florida State will get back to their scoring ways. 10-8 on the kill from Lauren Burrows.
Senior outside hitter Peyton Caffrey is so good on this ball. You see Florida State will drop this ball a little bit inside. Peyton Caffrey makes sure to get her feet there and really put that ball away. It's a great play for the Seminoles.
Caffrey, the returning ACC Player of the Year from last season. Statistics are impressive to say the least. We'll get to those in a second. Blue Devils looking to stop the Seminole rally. To the far side, Blue Devils will get a free attack here. A good, strong free swing from the Blue Devils will score. That's Lizzie Fleming.
Great point for Duke there. Lizzie Fleming got set 3 times, but as a middle, she kept transitioning off the net, kept driving, and her setter found the ball for her to put away there at the end.
Right over top of Clothier, nonetheless. Wokaniran will serve for Duke. 10-9 Florida State. Wokaniran caught FSU by surprise on a long serve. The Blue Devils look to score a second in a row, and they do. It's Fleming once again right up front, just over top the net on the soft play.
That's a veteran play right there. She's just a freshman, but she's got her eye on the ball and finishes off an opportunity at the net.
10-10 as the Blue Devils look to get a rally going here. Wokenieren's serve is fielded much more cleanly by Sullivan this time, and Florida State makes no mistakes.
Jazz Martin got a hold of that one. She was ready to go. The blockers left a little bit too much line for Martin, and she really ripped that ball down where the defender couldn't get it back up.
Kinsey Smith will come back in for the Blue Devils. Peyton Caffrey will have her turn to serve. Player of the year last year in this conference. The Blue Devils do not want to have her serve more than they can help. Smith to the front. Outside and down. Gracie Johnson with the kill.
Great deep corner swing there. We call it a jumbo ball where I coach at a Triangle Volleyball Club. Swinging that deep corner, it's the most difficult shot to defend, right in between two defenders.
Johnson has looked solid so far in this one, and Florida State sends it long. But Clothier is pointing across the net. Timeout called on the floor, then the Blue Devils have the lead.
Evidence to overturn the call.
It's a game that happens at a high speed, and the Blue Devils have the lead at 12-11 in this critical first set. Sullivan fields it right up toward the net. The Blue Devils are going to get a point, as I think Florida State's front three got a little too close to the net.
You're right. That pass was a little tight, and even though Lily Tessier, the setter, is pretty tall, she just wasn't able to save that and gets called for the double.
So the Blue Devils will serve again. Lizzie Fleming, who's my early candidate for MVP, with another clean serve. Blocked by the Blue Devils front blockers. Florida State will finish it, though. Clothier puts it down.
Much better pass by Florida State's libero Madison Sullivan. She recovers well there. Florida State runs their offense twice and gets a great swing on the B there.
Clothier was a back-to-back Texas high school champion at Hebron, came into this game with 41 kills. As the Seminoles take over serving. Big swing by Lily Cooper, and Florida State is going to win the point to tie the set back up at 13-13.
Lily Cooper is a big, tall player. She's 6'4", 6'5". When you have that kind of length and kind of reach, you really got to fire that ball up into her window. It seemed like the set was just a little bit low.
Taylor Roberts is serving for the second time in the game. She went to Sneads High School in Sneads, Florida, as Duke will win the point on the service error, but Sneads currently has the longest consecutive state championship run in volleyball, and a lot of that has to do with her mother, who is coaching. Roberts' mother is 5 straight state championships for Sneads High School.
That's fantastic. She plays like a coach's daughter, for sure.
14-13, Blue Devils lead in the set over Cooper, and Florida State's going to win the point.
Camille Nazer was a little off balance there. She's falling backwards, and her hands just shifted to get called for that double call.
Florida State will adjust their roster to get everybody in play that they want, including Adrian Eli, team leader in aces with 8.
She's got a lethal serve, and this substitution seems to be running Florida State into a 6-2 situation where they have 3 attackers in the front row at all times.
Florida State keeps it alive, but only for a moment as Eli goes off balance. So despite the fact Florida State puts their best server in the game, the Blue Devils win the point. 15-14, they have the lead in the set. Good serve for the Blue Devils. She will put it deep, and now Florida State will have their offense an opportunity to go to work. Wokenieren is held in by Roberts, perhaps in error. The Blue Devil blockers will give the ball right back to the Seminoles. A couple of strong right hands from Florida State. Another good rally going here, and the Seminoles win it.
That was a great swing right there. It was a great rally. Both teams are really going at each other. And you see here, it's a great transition dig by Madison Sullivan to give her setter the opportunity to run the middle.
It's Marissa Stockman with the kill, the Illinois State transfer, a sophomore from Clear Lake, Wisconsin. As the Seminoles will serve once again, 15 all in this first set. Wokenieren puts it down.
That was was a fantastic swing by Wokaneer, and she saw she had a little bit of a gap to swing through the block. She gets up high and she goes hard here through the block, and the defender can't quite reach out in that seam.
16-15, Blue Devils lead. That's Mackenzie Cole on the serve, and the Blue Devils will have another point scored for them. Florida State just seems to be making a couple of critical errors in big situations.
Yep, they haven't quite cleaned up their game yet. Mackenzie Cole is a very tough server. She leads Duke in aces. She has a low, flat serve that is really difficult to handle.
It's almost got a knuckleball action to it, as it's very flat coming across with not a whole lot of rotation either. Wokaneer had her timing thrown off by the place of that set. Florida State can end it, but they won't. Favorable to get over the net. Another good dig by FSU. That's Adrian Eli on the back line. She's been good so far. Soft play by Fleming. Florida State returns fire as Caffrey tries to end it. And FSU will get the point.
Smart mix-up by Caffrey there. You notice she's not the tallest player on the court, but it really doesn't matter to her. She has an extremely varied toolbox. She can go hard, she can go at that hard angle ball or line shot, or she can go off speed right over the block and she scores there.
It is interesting to be so prolific up front. Caffrey is only 6 foot. Native of Chuleta, Florida. Sullivan serves for FSU. Wokaneer, a well-placed ball going for that back cross corner. Caffrey just has to put it back over the net for FSU. Fleming on the soft touch again. That's twice she's gotten FSU with that move.
She's extremely smart middle. That is great vision by the freshman middle here. You see Florida make a great defensive play. You know, for a team that's known for their blocking prowess, their defense is having to pick up a lot of slack, but here they can't quite get to this ball. Fleming reaches and taps it just over the block. Defender's not able to get out to it.
The Blue Devils have gotten to their game quickly. They lead the work game at 1 p.m. on November 24th. Out of the timeout, Duke 18, Florida State 16 in the opening set of the opening match of ACC play for both of these teams.
Correction, it looks like setter Eli does not have Taryn Canute in the front row for Florida State. If they're focusing on side out here, they get a perfect pass. You got to think that they're going to set Peyton Caffrey.
This is Camille Nazer, the Louisville, Kentucky native, who will serve for the Blue Devils. 19 kills on the season for Nazer coming into the contest. That is a long run for Sullivan, and it's all the Seminoles can do just to put it back and keep it in play. But a solid block up front. That's Caffrey once again rising to the occasion with Clothier to win the point for Florida State.
Player of the year play right there. She gets a difficult pass and she isn't able to put the ball away on a kill, but she says, never mind, I'm going to get the big stuff block for my team right here. She reaches high and presses over and makes sure Lauren Klein can't get the kill on the slide.
Magnificent athleticism shown there by Caffrey. 18-17 in a very tightly contested first set. Caffrey again, stopped by the Blue Devil blockers, and Wokaneer will have her turn. Good dig by FSU. Solid setup, and Duke just has to throw it back over the net. Soft play to the front, and Florida State uses a play from Lizzie Fleming's playbook to burn the Blue Devils there. A nice tap by Tessier.
Beautiful roll shot there by Morgan Chacon from the back row. They're really going to her out of that back row option, especially when they're out of system, and she just makes the heads-up play with the roll shot.
Tessier with 4 aces coming into the contest today, serves, and another block by Florida State will give them the lead in the set. It's 3 straight points scored by the Seminoles.
3 straight points, and 2 of them were blocks here. The Florida State blocks coming alive. That set's just a little low when you have the athleticism of Adia Wokaneer, and you really want to
have the serve coming out of the Blue Devil timeout. It's Tessier, redshirt freshman from Fort Myers, Florida. Flat serve to Wokaneer. She'll get a chance to get a point back here. She's not able to get a whole lot on that return fire. Keep it in the middle, Fleming. She's denied on a solid play once again by Tessier. The far side, Wokaneer blocked. Another good rally going for both teams in a critical point. Caffrey is shut down. to the far side, and Florida State will get the point as Jasmine Martin with a strong outside shot stretches the Duke defense just a little too far.
Great swing from Martin here. You see her use all of that 6'3" frame to go right through that hole. I'd also like to give credit, it's not going to go in the stat sheet, but Florida State's block got the soft touch and an easy transition dig for its back row. That's huge when you're trying to defend against this Duke offense.
Blue Devils starting to leak oil a little bit. So they give up 4 straight points before getting that one back. And the serve will go to Awokeniran.
That's a huge kill for Lauren Klein. Duke switched up its offensive setup. They moved Lauren Klein to attack on the outside ball, and she puts it away for Duke.
Awokeniran gets a little help from the net, and they're going to get the point and tie the set at 20.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and Awokeniran made her own luck on that play, getting that serve to dribble just off the top of the net.
Right on the tape, Awokeniran with a critical score for the Blue Devils. 20-20 in a hotly contested opening set.
And if you're Duke, you have to feel good about this position. You know that you've been training 20-20, playing these 5-point games about finishing off when you're in your gym. You have this opportunity against Florida State. You really want to take advantage right now. It's important for Duke here to put in a really strong serve, get Florida State out of system right now.
Awokeniran goes right up the middle. Sullivan just reached out and got it. And the Blue Devils will go back on the attack without a spike from the Seminoles, and they make them pay.
Gracie Johnson with the big...
It all starts with another good serve from Awokeniran, and she'll get it back here. The Blue Devils have the lead in the set, 21-20, and they're going to give it right back on the service error. 21 all, 4 points till we decide a winner.
A little bit of a backbreaker there. It's a tough miss serve for Duke, but it was so close, and that tough serving is what got them the point before.
And to give it to the senior Caffrey to serve here. Blue Devils looking for the kill in the cross corners. Sullivan stops them. Here's Caffrey with a big right hand.
That's a big swing of points there for Florida State. And Gracie Johnson takes a big hammer from the outside, but they handle it and set Caffrey, and she comes up big out of the back row.
And that is the advantage of having the ACC Player of the Year from last season on your side. A little soft touch play, and Florida State sniffs it out this time. 23-21 Seminoles. Jolene Nagel has seen enough, sensing what's about to happen. She
Klein, give them the opportunity to get a perfect pass here. Look out for them to run Lizzie Fleming.
Caffrey with a serve deep. Blue Devils trying to score a point. They're going to get fortunate here, and they do.
Camille Nazer got her feet to that ball and was able to force it back, even though the pass wasn't ideal, still behind the 10-foot line. Lauren Klein gets a little bit lucky off the tape, but that's what happens when you swing tough and swing aggressive.
Serve goes to Fleming. She puts it right in the middle of Florida State, and that is a strong kill. The outside by Jazz Martin.
That seam is pretty undefendable. When it's right there in between two defenders going around the block, it's going to be difficult to pick that up.
24-22, Florida State leads. They score a point, they win the set. And Taylor Roberts will have the serve for the Seminoles. Sneed's Florida native, puts it across the net. Smith receives it for the Blue Devils. To the outside, Duke extends the play.
Big time kill there from the freshman Gracie Johnson. She steps up when Duke needs her most.
She's been solid thus far. Outside hitter playing on the far side of your screen typically. The serve goes to Springate. Knowles can end it here. Kenzie Smith keeps it alive. Out to the far side. Sullivan with a diving play. To win it, the soft touch is denied by the Blue Devils up front. They got it! Right in the middle, it's Lily Cooper.
Huge play for Duke right there. Credit to the Duke defense. They read that tip from Jazz Martin. They were ready to go. Lily Cooper transitions off the net and swings past this big Florida State block.
So we will play into some extra points. Seminoles will not get the advantage here to the far side again. Sullivan receives it, but it doesn't matter. The Blue Devils have the point, and they are 1 point away from taking this first set.
Yeah, the over-eager Florida State block there. It looks like they were really trying to press and take that shot away from Gracie Johnson, but they finish into the net, and it gives Duke a 1-point lead here.
Official was right on top of it, and the Blue Devils can win it here. Florida State denies them the opportunity, though.
Fantastic pass by Florida State. You know, one of their keys was ball control. They nail it right there and give setter Lily Tessier the opportunity to run their middle for the point.
Canute was the one to finish the play. 25 all between the Blue Devils and the Seminoles. The serve will go to Adrian Eli. Eli from Cincinnati, Ohio. It's a flat serve that goes a little too far for the Blue Devils. They regroup. Far side, and that is out.
Bit of a wide swing there. Felt like Duke never really got to run their offense the way they wanted. First pass was a little bit tight, and they were in scramble mode the whole time.
Went right up toward the net, and Adrian Eli will have a chance to win it here for Florida State. Up 26-25. Gets a little help from the net, but the Blue Devils survive it. And the shot is wide. Florida State survives a strong Duke attack, and they take the first set 27-25.
He's a defensive specialist only, but it's great to have Adia Wilkaniron back after she missed a couple matches earlier this season.
Blue Devils will have the set. It's Camille Nazer out of Assumption High School to start this second set of play. The Blue Devils trailing 1-0 in the set count. We'll get a whistle blown here. Florida State's going to take that point, as I think the Blue Devils once again got a little overzealous up toward the net.
Definitely early net call there on Adia Wilkaniron. As a player, you wish you can have those back. You're in good position, you get a touch, your defense has got it going, but you finish into the net.
So the Seminoles will hold serve as Caffrey sends it across. Wilkaniron receives it. She'll have a chance to kill it, and those blockers once again starting to heat up for the Seminoles. On the outside, good attempt by Jazz Martin, who had 3 kills in that opening set, and this one goes deep for the Blue Devils, 2-0 FSU.
Definitely, you see kind of a tale of 2 adjustments. The set was a little bit not where Jazz Martin wanted that ball, so she moved her feet, got around it, and put the ball in play. While that set's behind Lauren Klein's head, and she sails that ball long.
Caffrey puts the ball in play for Florida State. Duke receives. Wilkaniron, that time she'll finish it.
That's needed for Duke. Adia Wilkaniron's only hitting .053 through the first set. She has 3 kills, 2 errors on 19 swings. She's going to need to be a lot more efficient here for Duke in this second set moving forward in the match.
And here's Kinsey Smith, native of Wake Forest, North Carolina. That's the town where the college used to be, not Winston-Salem, where Wake Forest University is now. Net to hand, and it's all discombobulated for the Blue Devils as Florida State will get the point back. 3-1, the Noles lead.
You admire the hustle, but the takeaway there is the Florida State block notches another one. That's the first error for the night for Lizzie Fleming as well.
Well, and you knew coming into the night that FSU block was going to be a lot to handle, and it's not just for the Blue Devils, it's for whoever the Seminoles play this year. Has a strong right hand for the Blue Devils. Lauren Klein out of Bakersfield, California, the only graduate senior on this team, brings the Blue Devils back to within a point.
And she uses that graduate student knowledge there accumulated through her training in college already to squeeze the ball through that block for the point.
Klein had 173 kills last year as a member of the Pacific Tigers, and the Blue Devil block gets one back, as right up front is Lily Cooper to return to sender.
Right, Florida State's first in block in the ACC, but Duke is second, and that's for a big reason here is Lily Cooper. She closes that block with Gracie Johnson. They fill that hole, and they're able to get the stuff block there.
Seminoles will get it right back, though, up front, Taryn Canute.
That's a courageous play there from Florida State. Lily Cooper gets the block, but Florida State isn't afraid. They go right back at her, and she isn't quite able to get up and penetrate over the net in time. Taryn Canute finishes it off with a strong run in front.
Adrian Eli, a member of the ACC Academic Honor Roll, will have the serve. Another one of those very flat-line knuckleballs, and Lily Cooper mistimes it. And Blue Devil errors are starting to victimize Duke. 5-3, Florida State leads in the second set.
So we're seeing setter Adrian Eli for Florida State here earlier in the second set. It seems like Chris Poole is making the adjustment to go to the 6-2 earlier, give themselves more attackers up front. Hopefully they won't have to wait until the end of the set to make their run.
Out wide, Duke will get it to go over the net with a little bit of help from the tape.
Now on that slide, Lauren Klein is very difficult to handle. She has a little bit of a atypical arm swing. Her elbow stays lower than normal. It's difficult to read if you're a blocker, and they're having trouble sealing that net off against her over on the right side.
Alex Springate with the serve for the Blue Devils, and a little soft touch by Florida State will score for the Seminoles.
Great stretch by Stockman there. It's a sign of a really strong middle, is that she drives hard and gets up and makes something happen even when the set isn't perfect.
Marissa Stockman, as we told you in the first set, is a transfer from Illinois State. She played every set last year for the Redbirds except for one. You talk about longevity and continued pursuit as the Blue Devils get a point back here, but that's a lot of wear and tear to put on the body to play every set but one.
That's a lot of wear and tear, especially as a middle. Your job as a middle is to go pin to pin, getting that block up and to drive every single time and be available. That is a ton of jumps.
Stockman from Clear Lake, Wisconsin. Blue Devils with a chance to tie here. Awokeniran just had it tipped by Canute. Florida State cannot return it as Cooper strong in front once again, 6-6.
That's great for Lily Cooper. She presses and finishes. That's a play where Peyton Caffrey may score against some teams and against some blockers, making a heads-up out-of-system swing, but they can't get the ball by Cooper here.
So Duke hangs in for a couple of strong punches from FSU, and this time the Seminoles can't get it together.
Definitely a misconnection there. That ball is just set a little bit wide. Looks like Taryn Canute was trying to run something a little bit closer to her setter, but instead the ball flings wide.
And we've seen a couple of errors in this second set. When something looks so out of time there, what really is the diagnosis for symptoms like that?
I think it comes down to a communication error in a lot of those situations. Your hitter thinks you're running one thing, and your setter thinks you're running something else.
Caffrey misses wide. A rare miscue for Peyton Caffrey. She only committed 38 errors coming into this contest to go with her 96 kills.
That's for sure. Definitely a rare error. It's a great swing from her going for that far sideline, but just misses. Duke is benefiting from a few errors here early from Florida State to build this 2-point lead.
Caffrey is shut down by Lily Cooper, who has taken over in this second set. Awokeniran, she stopped by Canute. Out wide, Caffrey can't come down on the ball with speed like she likes to do. And Awokeniran will finish it for Duke.
That's a great job by Awokeniran there. You see the adjustment that Duke is making.
Pardon me. That point will go to FSU, and I'm not sure if Awokeniran followed through into the net or if there was a net call away from the ball on Cooper or Nazer. Did you see anything there?
It could be that the ball actually went on Duke's side for finishing the block instead of coming through the block on Florida State's side.
So despite the solid play from Awokeniran, Florida State will get the point. 8-7 Blue Devils lead the set as that one pinballs around, and Florida State will tie the set 8-8.
We're going to see that last play where there's a little bit of confusion here.
Actually, we're not going to have time to get to that as Florida State will do a proverbial quick pitch. Sullivan's serve. Awokeniran with a light touch, cannot get it over. And the Seminoles return fire with a 3-point rally of their own.
The Duke offense had made a great adjustment in the second set. They had come out early and they were attacking the high part of the block, trying to squeeze through the weak part of the fingertips and the hands for the Florida State blockers. But they're getting pulled out of system and don't have that option right now. It's making it difficult for Duke to score.
Lily Cooper with a hard right hand, but she misses wide again. And an unforced hitting error gives Florida State a 2-point lead in the second set.
Much better pass. It's a nice run, but Cooper swings just a little bit long. Duke needs to stay the course right here, weather this early adversity.
And they will get a break there on the service error from Sullivan. 10-9. And critically for the Blue Devils, they'll see if they can get a rally going here as Mackenzie Cole is back up to serve for Duke.
Duke's definitely going to need to start stringing together some points, stringing together some skills, some kills offensively. Currently, they're only attacking at .091. That's far under what you want to see from a team here.
Cole with the dig, but Caffrey's And the Florida State Seminoles will get another chance, and they make no mistake on the return volley. And that's tough for Duke to swallow. Cole had 21 aces all of last season, had 19 coming into the game today. She continues to build that statistic. But if you can't get your best server going with a rally, it's really of ill consequence.
Right. The number of aces you're going to get are going to be extremely limited. The value of a strong server is somebody that's really going to get the other team out of system consistently. Mackenzie Cole has that capability, as do some other servers on the Duke roster, but right now they're not capitalizing defensively and going on runs behind these servers.
There's Lizzie Fleming on the soft touch. She misses outside. And all of a sudden, the errors are piling up for the Blue Devils. Good serve by Tessier. Awokeniran will get a point for the Blue Devils. That's much needed break to the rally.
It's another kill that we were talking about. Awokeniran going high off the block here. She has great athleticism, and because of her reach, she can really hang in the air and use her vision to go off of that outside hand.
Hard to believe that Addie Awokeniran is only a sophomore. Such a heady player, knows where to put the ball, and has the physical ability to be able to do it. Florida State does not allow the Blue Devils to rally here. Right up front making the play is Clothier.
Even more, Addie Awokeniran's only in her third season playing as an outside hitter. In club volleyball, she was a middle until her senior year. So
Blue Devils with a strong kill to the outside corner. That's Lizzie Fleming.
Great turnaround here for Lizzie Fleming. She's made a couple errors on her last few swings. She gets up, she goes hard, and swings deep to a corner for the kill right there.
If there had been paint on that ball, she would have repainted the line, perfectly placed. And Duke will have a chance to get a rally going here. Sullivan with the dig, sets up a chance for FSU, and they make no mistake as Jazz Martin, the bottom of your screen, hard and heavy right hand to make it 14-11 Seminoles.
She is a fantastic right side player. Martin is taking advantage of every opportunity. The setters are not going to her too often. They're using her selectively, and she's getting a kill every time they go there.
Duke down 3 in the second set. Chance to go on the attack here. They tried to trick them, and it works. All the Seminoles came up toward that 10-foot line, and Lizzie Fleming put it in the back.
That's a couple of times that Lizzie Fleming has just gotten points from being really active. You see here, she's up and ready to jump every single time. Great middles are ones that are always transitioning, always jumping, always getting involved.
It looked like Nazer tried the short play. This is a tight pass that throws off timing. That ball might have been going deep had Smith not stopped it. Block is there for the Seminoles. They have the lead in the second set, 15-12. Timeout on the floor. We'll take it with them. We'll be right back to Durham. 15-12. Florida State leads the second set. Florida State has gotten to their game in the second set. They lead the Duke Blue Devils 15-12 after taking the first set 27-25. Blue Devils trying to get that rally going, but Florida State has the ball and the serve as Chris Poole's team looks for a strong start in ACC play. Funny thing for Florida State is this is a test already because of the series history with the Blue Devils, but then they're going to make the 90-minute drive to Winston-Salem to take on a Wake Forest team that is white hot to start the season.
Yeah, Wake Forest is off to a strong start. For Florida State, you have a really difficult job. You have travel partners in the ACC, and you don't have a situation where one travel partner is weaker than the other. You really have to plan and scout well for both teams. That can stress the team out.
Solid hit to the outside by Gracie Johnson. We've called the freshman's name a lot so far. It's interesting, she actually graduated high school a little bit early and went over to Rome, Italy to study. What an experience that must be to go over there to Europe, have a chance to really live and experience the culture, and then to come back here and play volleyball the way she does. Strong showing to open ACC play.
You're exactly right, and I think part of her strong start in ACC play is getting over there and getting that experience and playing with those upper-level teams. You know, the volleyball culture is so strong in Italy. A lot of teams from the United States in college will take trips over there and play teams in Italy, teams in Slovenia, teams in France, and that benefits their team because of the strong play going on.
That was Canute, who will earn another kill for Florida State. Stops the Blue Devil rally. Caffrey with a hard, heavy right hand. And that extends the Florida State lead in this set 17-13. It's interesting you're talking about the European trip. Florida State actually embarked on a journey just like that from June 22nd to July 2nd. Played all over Europe, Italy, Slovenia, and Austria during the 11 days. Nice soft touch by Gracie Johnson on that left side for the Blue Devils once again.
I can't speak to Florida State's trip, but I know that when I worked at Duke as the director of operations, we went on a trip to Europe. And the thing that you get going as a team over to Europe is you just bond together. You're spending so much time together in a situation with a lot of adversity. You may not know the language, you may not know the culture, but you're spending time with all of these people, then you're really working through it together. It makes you better as a team and gets you ready for the season.
That is a textbook Peyton Caffrey kill. Just off center of middle, and she comes down hard with that ball straight in between the Duke defenders. 18-14, FSU has the lead in the second set. Madison Sullivan attacks that right side of the Blue Devils, and Awoken Nearin is going to win that point for Duke.
Both teams going back and forth here. Caffrey gets a kill, Awoken Nearin gets a kill. It's Duke that really needs to stop runs from Florida State and start building momentum of their own. They can't go point for point. They're down by 3. They have to recover some ground now before it gets too late in this set.
Seminoles are 7 points away from taking a 2-0 lead in this opening match of ACC play for both teams. This one's just got to get over for the Seminoles. Duke with a chance. Awoken Nearin blocked. Right up front, that Seminole threat. Tough to penetrate, but the Blue Devils will go around him there. Nazer with a smart play to lay it right in the middle of the lines.
Well, the last time we were in Cameron Indoor Stadium, Camille Nazer was playing in the front row and had a strong attacking night. She's picking back up where she left off after a relatively quiet set attacking-wise for her. She's been dishing the ball out to her other attackers. She decides to call her own number there, and it was very effective. Gets a big point for the Blue Devils. Other Olympic sports where they've got outstanding programs as well.
Superior linear coverage by the ACC network. This is Cole on the serve. Caffrey will score the point for FSU. And see, unlike in that first set where Caffrey really wasn't able to free swing, now she's starting to get in position. That timing is crisp, and she's made very few mistakes here in the second half.
Yeah, Duke is really experiencing how Caffrey doesn't need to get very much space in order to be successful. She has an extremely fast arm, and for an outside hitter, that means that you're going to be able to do a lot with the ball and do it quickly in order to score.
Another soft play by the Blue Devils will score a point as Duke will not go quietly into the night. Once again, they're continuing to struggle and dig through this set.
Yeah, this extremely crafty play by Lizzie Fleming. You know, if you're a middle, you obviously want to go up and you want to pound the ball whenever you get a chance. But if you can score with a crafty kill like that, why not? Do it every time until the defense adjusts.
So here is Nazer on the serve for the Blue Devils. And Florida State will get the point off the fingertips of the Blue Devil blockers. Clothier, who's been quieter in the second set than the first, but still has been a notable presence. And Chris Poole is going to have a conversation with the official, and I'm not really sure what that was about.
No, it looks like he was just confirming something with the official. But Florida State's having a great night. They've put themselves in a good position here at 20-17. They can really finish this off just trading out point for point with Duke if they need to.
Strong dig by Cole. Awoken Nearin has to put it on to the back. And Johnson is lucky to get it over the net. Another wind up and fire for Florida State, and they will score another point. The Blue Devil blockers cannot keep the possession going. 21-17 FSU over the Blue Devils here. A little bit of moisture on the floor as you see the Seminoles going to work to clean that up.
This is definitely a danger zone for Duke. You're down by 4 here. Florida State just needs 4 points to finish out this set. They have Caffrey serving. You need to get a side out quickly right here.
The Blue Devils do have both timeouts remaining. You wonder if they do not score on this point. If Jolene Nagel will use one. Awoken Nearin. Great dig on the back line by Caffrey. And the Blue Devils are able to fill the open void, put the ball down. Right up front once again, I believe it was Fleming.
This is a big momentum point here for Duke. You felt like all was lost right here on this block coverage, but Mackenzie Cole gets the pancake, and then huge block. Lauren Klein seals the net and shuts it down.
Fleming and Klein there together. Blue Devils trail in the second set by 3, 21-18.
You know, we haven't talked a lot about Mackenzie Cole so far tonight, but she's quietly having a great defensive night for Duke. She's notched 12 digs already, and the second set isn't even over. She'll have to keep up the good work there with another dig in order to keep Duke going.
Blue Devils keep it alive, but Florida State has a chance. That's Caffrey. So strong, so good from any position, and she's standing a good distance off the net there and still able to score that point.
Yep, there you see that lightning fast arm come in. She's able to squeak that ball by the blockers. It just gets caught between Lauren Klein and the net. They're not quite able to finish.
Kinsey Smith will take the place of Awoken Niren. She'll go onto the back line. Taylor Roberts prepared to put the ball in play. Roberts has a sister, played volleyball at South Alabama. Blue Devils will get the point there.
Quite the athletic family for Roberts, between the mom, who's a prolific coach, and the sister who played at South Alabama.
Well, not only that, you know, there are families of athletes all across the sport, all across this game, but that is a volleyball family. Far side, the soft play. Duke sniffs it out. Critical point here for the Blue Devils. Florida State's got to get it over the net. Roberts scores the point. Let's have another look at that one, CJ.
That's just an oh wow play there from Roberts. I mean, she does not give up. You see her, Tessier makes the first hustle play, and then Roberts makes the second one. And Duke's just caught looking at each other on that play. Nobody steps in aggressively to take that ball.
And you could see Roberts at the end of that replay in shock that she'll get credit for that point scored. Florida State leads this second set 23-19. Let's have one remaining.
And if you're Duke here, your focus is just putting all of those mistakes back behind you and coming out strong right here on this play.
Adrian Eli had the serve for Florida State. Seminoles will keep it going off of a strong dig from Roberts, and they'll score off of Kinsey Smith's fist. And FSU is a point away from securing the second set.
Caffrey's having a lot of success out of the back row. In some ways, that's a more difficult.
The Wolfpack are at 5-7, and the Tar Heels are at 3-7. Coach Hampton Keefe for the Wolfpack trying to turn that program around and get them out of the doldrums of mediocrity.
Right, I think for Coach Linda Hampton Keefe, she's scheduled pretty difficultly in the preseason. They've had a couple losses, but ACC play is a whole different beast.
Strong play to the outside, a dig from Chacon, and the Blue Devil blockers will get that point.
Much needed big-time play there from the Duke blockers. You thought the Florida State hustle was going to earn them another point, but they can't quite keep the ball alive there.
We talked about Chacon being on the beach volleyball team with her sister Elena. She's a product of Crown Point, Indiana. 5'11" redshirt freshman, tried to keep the play alive there. Florida State a point away from winning the set. Duke has something to say about it. Strong kill from Gracie Johnson.
And Duke was caught in this rotation at the end of the last set too. And they had a couple of errors that put it out of reach for them. But here, that's a great swing from Gracie Johnson, going high and over the block to the jumbo section.
Alex Springate with the serve here for the Blue Devils. Very smart young lady, a member of the National Honor Society and the National Math Honor Society in high school. Nazer cannot get it over. And characteristically for Duke in the second half, the error ultimately cost them the set. Florida State up at St. Ignatius High School, and she has brought that from the West Coast all the way over to Durham. And the Blue Devils are going to need her and the rest of the squad to try to mount a comeback here against number 23, Florida State. Seminoles have the serve to open up this third set, and away we go with Florida State up 2-0. This best of 5, and a good start for the Blue Devils as Lauren Klein gets a kill.
Great sign for Duke. They run that first play with the slide out to Lauren Klein. That set's pushed to the pin, and Klein slings around the block to go deep to one.
Blue Devils will put the ball in play here. Sullivan had it awkwardly go off of her fist, and that threw off the timing completely. Adio Wokaniran is serving. 2-0 Duke as they look to get a run here early. Hard flat serve, throws off the timing again, and Lauren Klein puts it down just outside of the famed Duke D at midcourt.
Big time serving here from Adia Wokaniran to start the set. She's putting over a low flat serve. Lauren Klein gets the kill right there.
Thunderous from Klein. High up in the air again, Florida State trying to put it together, and they will here. Off of Wokaniran's fist.
Who else but Peyton Caffrey comes around the middle for a swing. She's an outside hitter, but she runs that tempo ball in the middle with great precision, and that wicked fast arm just puts the ball to the floor before the defenders can get to it.
Last season, Caffrey had 476 kills for the Garnet and Gold. Looking to eclipse that mark this year, well on her way as the stats continue to build up. High up in the air, Duke's just got to get it over, and Smith will do the honors. Strong block from Duke once again, far side. That was Gracie Johnson, but Florida State will score nonetheless.
That's Jessica Nungi, who looks to be subbed in for Morgan Chacon right now. Scoring on Duke with the tip. No off blockers seem to make the move there for Duke. That's got to be disappointing defensively to let an easy tip fall to the floor.
Nungi was her high school's MVP as Florida State will tie the set 3-3. But not only that, she was a first-team all-conference selection. She was a Max Preps Player of the Week. And she was also an outstanding hoop star.
You have to love a multi-sport athlete. Really good for that cross-training. It helps you be a better athlete in your sport.
Blue Devils take the lead back in the set at 4-3. And CJ, it seems critical here for Duke to try to stretch the lead early because Florida State has really turned it up later in these sets.
Right, if you're Duke, you definitely want to limit your errors, you want to increase your opportunities, build your efficiency, and just get into a groove offensive-wise so that you're feeling good by the end of the set. If you're kind of gritting and grinding it out, you don't feel like you have a go-to player to put the ball away there at the end. Things can get really difficult in crunch time.
Sophomore Taylor Roberts has the serve for FSU. She is the shortest player between these two teams, standing at only 5'4". The FSU blockers once again right there. It's Canute.
And here you can see how the serve really links up with Florida State's block. They get a serve that pushes the pass off the net. Camille Nazer is forced to use her platform instead of her hands, and it has to go to the outside. The block gets set up early, presses, and is ready to go.
Canute has been outstanding blocking this season. Led the team in blocks per set. Blue Devils will get the point back there, though. And a couple of subs come in for the Blue Devils as Springgate and Samantha Amos make their way in for Jillian Nagel's squad.
It's a killer cut by Lily Cooper. She just goes around that block sharp. She drops that thumb and is really able to cut that ball away from the blockers.
Serve is too deep. Florida State takes the lead in the third set, 6-5. And it's those type of errors that the Blue Devils really have to avoid when you're just giving points back to a team like Florida State. Eventually, they make you pay.
Right, that's 2 service errors in a row for Duke here early when they're trying to establish momentum in the third set. But Florida State's giving them another free one. This reminds us of the first set where there were several service errors early. Neither team really established a groove or a rhythm. We'll see if this plays out a little different for the Blue Devils and they can kind of seize momentum here when they have the opportunity.
Jasmine Martin sends it long, and she will have a seat on the bench as Alyssa Collins comes in to take her place.
Also of note, Duke here seems to be running a 6-2. This is a different offensive setup. They have senior lefty Samantha Amos checked in the front row, and setter Alex Springgate is shifting from a defensive role to a setter role that gives Duke more versatility up front. It could be a benefit to the Blue Devils to try and establish some rhythm and increase their hitting percentage here.
They take a lead in the set once again at 7-6. Canute misses outside. 8-6 Blue Devils here in this third set. And here's a note on Samantha Amos. As I was preparing for this game earlier today, I noticed just how consistent she has been in blocking Her freshman year, she had 93 total, 88 total in her sophomore season, and 82 total in her junior season. She stayed healthy and she stayed consistent for the Blue Devils, and sometimes that's an underrated characteristic in a collegiate athlete is consistency.
Exactly. She's an extremely consistent blocker. She's a dynamic athlete. She can really press high over the net, and she has great awareness where the hitter's going and what they're doing. As a lefty, she's been on the right side for a long time, so she's comfortable in that position as well.
Cameron Indoor Stadium has reason to roar as Duke is back up 3 points in this third set, 9-6. Can Duke keep it rolling? Caffrey gets it in.
Absolutely lethal from the back row here. This time she just unloads on this ball going deep to area 1. Duke defenders didn't even make a move. They thought the ball was going long, but it was a great swing from Caffrey.
She's been so good at stopping Blue Devil rallies. Short serve is fielded cleanly by Cole, and Amos is denied.
Caffrey gets involved on that play with Canute to just seal a huge block up in front of them. You can see here 4 hands right in front of Amos, shutting it down.
And that's FSU's 2 best players statistically right in front of you. 9-8 Blue Devils have the 1-point lead in the set. Florida State with a chance to tie it. Caffrey does.
Blue Devil defense extremely out of position there. Don't quite get the double block up you want. Mackenzie Cole's forced to make a read, and she's not staying wide enough to dig that ball.
And you can look at the wry smile from Peyton Caffrey. They answer a 3-point Duke run with a 3-point run of their own to the Florida State Seminoles. Here's Amos, she'll get the kill.
Senior versus senior going to battle out there on the pin. Peyton Caffrey gets a great swing for the kill around Amos, so Amos does the same thing to Caffrey.
Lily Cooper checks out of the game for the Blue Devils. Amos and her sister Alex, who is also on this Blue Devil roster, both outside hitters from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Upper St. Clair High School. Duke blockers are ready for that one, and they're going to get the point.
Yeah, double called there on Florida State. Fun fact, they're both pin players, but Samantha Amos is a lefty and Alex Amos is a righty.
It's funny the discrepancies you get between siblings sometime. This is Cole on the serve. Prolific at that position. The Duke blockers are there. The ball went out, but there was a stoppage of play beforehand. It looked like Florida State might have been up in the net. Is that what you saw there, CJ?
That's what I saw there, and that's what the referee saw.
It wasn't by much, but it was just enough. Timeout called by the Florida State Seminoles. Duke has the lead in the third set, 12-9. Timeout on the floor. We'll take it with them in Durham. True Blevins and CJ Hunter alongside with you here in Durham as we'll take a look at that last play. So it was Lily Tessier who gets into the net right there. Not a lot, but enough to draw the call, and she knew it. Florida State will end the Blue Devil rally, 12-10 Duke.
When you need a kill for your Florida State, you call on Peyton Caffrey. She breaks a string of several Florida State errors there. They've been making some miscues on the ball, a double, a ball in the net, a ball out of bounds. Those are the kind of things that open the door and give Duke hope here in this third set.
And uncharacteristic for a Florida State team that played a very clean second set. Blue Devils with a strong right hand, and there she is, Lizzie Fleming.
And she scored a lot tonight on the off speed, but you see here on this replay, she absolutely unloads on this ball. The defender barely has time to get their hands up in front of their face. It's a great swing.
Split the blockers, it looked like there, so even if they had been on their timing, it's just a well-placed spike. Service error for the Blue Devils as Nazer, frustrated with herself, slams the ball back into the crowd.
Totally understandable if you're Camille Nazer to be frustrated. You want to put that serve into play, but as a setter, she's got to bounce back right here and lead her team to the side out.
Blue Devils have committed 7 service errors compared to FSU's 5. Blue Devils will get the point back here, though. Tough for Nazer, especially considering she's prolific at serving, 6 aces on the season.
She's done a very good job. She has that walk-up serve. It's a nice flat float. It really can take teams out of system, so you really feel the weight of your missed opportunity when you put a serve into the net.
Addie Owokaniran will serve for the Blue Devils here, up 14-11 in this third set. High in the air it goes. Blue Devils with a chance to finish, and they do! Lauren Klein goes off the outside hand of the blocker. 15-11. The Blue Devils have their largest lead of any set in this contest at 4 points, 15-11. And they are in the driver's seat in this third set, CJ.
After a slow first set from Lauren Klein, she's come on strong. She's hitting 300. She's really using that block to her advantage. But a service error from Addie Owokaniran, she's feeling the same way that Camille Nazer did. Just missing these opportunities to build their lead against Florida State.
This is a chance here for the Blue Devils to extend this into that fourth set. And you do wonder, Florida State has been very used to playing quick matches. They've only won one game, 3-2. That was a hard-fought contest against FAU, but other than that, it's been 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. And those straight set victories make you wonder, does Florida State have the endurance to go the distance?
Right, and Duke definitely wants to make Florida State play that out and find out. Are they mentally and physically able to stay up over a 5-set match? And when you're on the road, that makes it more difficult. You're not sleeping in your own bed. You're not eating the food you're used to. You're traveling farther, and you're having to deal with those repercussions. The advantage is definitely the home team in a 5-set match.
Jazz Martin with the kill for FSU, and they'll do the tomahawk chop. It's Peyton Caffrey puts that in the perfect spot, and all of a sudden Florida State is only down 1.
Doing damage from behind the service line, there's no surprise. She's been highly effective, and she places that ball well, going right back to where she aced.
It was a curveball serve, as you could see the spin on it coming across your screen to that far side corner. And this is a thunderous spike that went practice at the collegiate game. How much practice does it take for a well-tuned athlete like Caffrey to be able to get in that timing rhythm so consistently?
I think it's something that's built every single day, and that if you take too much time away from it, that timing starts to erode. It's really about building that relationship up with your setter and knowing what timing you want to be on, knowing what step on your approach you want to be on when you're running a play like that quickly.
And quickly, if you're Jolene Nagel, your team's been in the driver's seat this third set. Now they find themselves tied 15-15. What did you just say in that last time out?
I think you're refocusing your team. I think you're refocusing team on just playing the point in front of them. That's how you're going to build this lead back. Volleyball is a game of momentum. You have to move yourself past the mistakes and get ready for the next point.
Cole receives the serve. It was a good play in front by Fleming. Florida State gets it and pushes it out deep and wide.
Lucky play there for Duke. That tip would have fell in that corner if she had placed it a little bit better, but it goes wide and out of bounds, and now we've got Lizzie Fleming serving here. Duke trying to build another run.
Nunji with the error. A little pause in the action for positioning. All ready to go now. Fleming drops it in on to Nunji. And the Blue Devil blockers with another victory in the battle.
Big time block for Gracie Johnson. You know, we haven't mentioned blocking as a forte for Gracie Johnson. It's more her attacking and her defensive skills, but right there she comes up big, makes a huge play to seal the net for Duke.
2-point lead for the Blue Devils. Nunji misses wide again. And Duke has the 3-point lead built right back up.
And here we are, another couple of errors for Florida State. They fuel a run here by Duke, who's up by 3 points. Now, are we going to see Duke capitalizing, or are they going to give it up again?
That's a serve that was right there close to the line. And a good finish by Clothier.
She's made a living tonight on that B play, that push that's much farther from the setter, almost from one end of that semicircle in the middle of the floor to the other. It really spaces out the blockers and makes it difficult to defend.
Only a freshman from Carrollton, Texas is Clothier. Taylor Roberts will have the serve for FSU. It's been interesting tonight. We've talked about the seniors and the big-name players as Duke earns a kill there to go back up 3. But it's also a couple of the freshmen on both sides who are making their impact felt early here in the ACC season.
Right. It's the freshmen that manage that transition to college and the speed of the game increasing who are really able to impact it. Obviously, Emma Clothier and Gracie Johnson are doing it well for Duke.
FSU needs a rally of their own. That's a good start for the Seminoles. Canute has no trouble there. Earns a kill from dead center. 19-17, Blue Devils in the driver's seat in this third set. And I asked you at the commercial break, and I'll ask you now on air, if Duke is able to finish this off, how much fire does FSU come back with in a potential fourth set?
I think Florida State's going to feel like they've been punched in the face, and they're going to want to come back and really take it to you.
There's a ball deep toward the basketball baseline, and FSU gets it over.
Another hustle play.
And Lily Cooper finishes the play for the Blue Devils. 20-17 Duke in this third set, 5 points away from a set victory as we take a look at this one again.
Right here, that's a great run by Alex Springate. She fires that ball fast out of her hands to Lily Cooper. She puts that ball deep to the corner.
Florida State caught out of position, having to chase that ball back onto the basketball baseline. Smart play by Cooper to go ahead and get it over. Trouble handling the serve. Duke back on the attack. Owokaniran out of bounds.
Owokaniran would like to have that one back. She had a great swing to go down the line, but she just over-rotated her shoulders and chopped on the side of the ball.
Duke 20, FSU 18. This is Nunji, 2 aces on the season for the product of Newburgh, Indiana. Strong play by Amos. Owokaniran will not finish it, but Samantha Amos does.
That's big time. That gave up an easy ball to Samantha Amos on a platter, and she's able to put it away. Those overpasses can really give you momentum for your team and get you feeling good.
That's 3 volleys of cannon fire from Owokaniran and Samantha Amos. And a big kill for 1-7.
And here Duke's got a great server from behind the line. Mackenzie Cole with this low flat serve, getting Florida State out of system.
Caffrey doesn't finish it this time. Florida State gets a return trip on the attack. Caffrey on the outside. Great play by Cole. FSU is going to get the point, but Mackenzie Cole twice with digs there.
That's huge for Caffrey there to win that duel on that last one for Mackenzie Cole. Because Cole's dug her twice, and there were 2 great digs in transition. Florida State had to squeak out that point with some great swings from their senior outside hitter.
21-19 as FSU is chasing from behind. Madison Sullivan out of Jacksonville, Florida with the serve. Springate sets it up. Strong play from Fleming, but she's blocked. Here's Caffrey. She's denied. Blockers for the Blue Devils doing their job, and that time it goes off of an outside hand. Fleming could not straighten it up. 21-20, here come the Seminoles as we get a second glance.
Here's that back row run. You see Morgan Chacon this time's checked in, and she gets a great swing off the block. Blockers a little early and on their way down, and then she just hits off that outside hand.
Owokaniran nearly ran into her teammate there. Here's Amos, gets the kill.
Crucial mistake there by the Florida State block. They left a hole big enough for Samantha Amos to squeeze that ball through right to the middle of the floor. That's big time for Duke. It puts them at point 22. They're up by 2 here, just needing to get to 25.
Camille Nazer comes in to serve. Blue Devils 3 points off, winning this third set and extending the contest. Nazer a little bit loopy on that serve. Here's Caffrey, brings it downhill. Blue Devils block it. Florida State with a big dig. They try to get it over. Here's Owokaniran with a tap play as they volley back and forth over the net. Owokaniran winds up and fires. The pace of play will calm here. Caffrey sends it over. Nazer with the set. Fleming the soft play. Great diving play by FSU. Hull keeps it going. Battle at the net. Owokaniran puts it down, and it's out. Jolene Nagel might want to challenge that, as Duke, I think, thought they had it. Let's look at it again. That
was really close. Let's check the replay here. Outstanding rally from both teams, by the way. Great fast twitch moves, getting these balls up in tight net plays.
Ooh. Might be worth a challenge from Jolene Nagel. She's over at the scorer's table.
She's got the green card out. Looks like it's a possibility here.
Adrian Eli made the specific move to dodge that. She thought it was going out. That look is compelling.
It's for sure difficult, and the thing to remember here is if any part of the ball touches the line, it is considered in. That's very close. It's difficult to tell from that replay when they slow it down in super slow-mo. If there's a challenge here, we could get more information.
Let's look at it from up top. This is our vantage point. I don't think it hit Eli. To me, that looks like it's on the line, which would count.
But Duke's choosing to move on here. There's something in that. They're choosing to move on to the next play. If it hadn't gone their way, it could have been worse focusing on that play for the whole time. Now they're moving on. They're choosing to try and side out and play on this next point.
It'll be interesting to see how the rest of this set develops after that tight call near the line. Owokaniran. Florida State returns fire. It goes right up by the official, and Duke's going to win the point.
Just what head coach Jolene Nagel dialed up right there. They needed a side out. They've chose to move on from that call, and they are ready to go to Adi Owokaniran, who put the ball away.
Coach Nagel and company sticking to their guns, and that's the way you answer a close play. Owokaniran will serve. Puts it right in the middle of Florida State. Now Duke just has to trade points. Cole with another dig. Owokaniran sends it downhill and scores!
Big time swing from Adi Owokaniran there. It's a high ball coming up to her out of the back row. It's not her specialty attacking from back there, but it doesn't matter. Step, close, and swing deep to that 5-6 seam for the kill. Great play.
Owokaniran brings the heat. Timeout on the floor, 24-21. Duke leading this third set. Got to give a whole lot of credit to Jolene Nagel for getting this team amped up. Backs against the wall, down 2-0. Let's go ahead and look at the national scene for volleyball. Penn State dominated in 2013 and 2014, but since then this has been a Big 12, Big 10. Meanwhile, the Duke Blue Devils will stay at home. They'll take on the Miami Hurricanes as they get their Floridian weekend in here in Durham.
They definitely much prefer to have that Floridian weekend up here in Durham than actually down in Miami and Tallahassee. It's a difficult road trip.
Serve is long from Owokaniran.
Excellent timeout there by Chris Poole. Seems to be a coach's point, forcing that service error by making Adi Owokaniran think just a little bit too long about her serve.
Blue Devils will look to set up the offense on this serve reception. Caffrey opted not to come with the heat. The Blue Devils can't finish on the first try. Blockers are there. Set to the outside for the set. Good dig by Chacon. Caffrey downhill. You bet you got it.
Great run. Some teams will be disappointed when their star outside hitter rotates to the back row, but not with Caffrey. She can impact the game from the service line, defensively, and swinging on that back row attack.
Blue Devils will call their final time out of this third set, and they understand how critical this point is specifically with Caffrey serving. She's got a few different things that she can do with the ball as we take a look at that last kill by Caffrey.
Right, it was a great swing from Lizzie Fleming. Nice up by the libero. But eventually the rally here is going to get to the point where Florida State's going to go to its star. They're going to go to Caffrey. She recognizes the situation, goes behind the setter, and puts that ball perfectly deep to area one as heads-up senior play.
As we take a look at it from the back angle, looked like that actually may have glanced off of Lizzie Fleming's fingertips. But that's just so hard coming off of her hand, and there's a reason that she's the returning player of the year. But coming up on this serve, if you're the Blue Devils, are you looking for something that's kind of that knuckleball, or are you looking for her to wind up and fire it with all that spin that goes into the far side corner?
I think she's probably looking more for placement. I think she's looking to place that ball into the court. She's going to go a little less risky here because any service error is going to automatically give the set to Duke. I'd look for her to attack area one. It seems to be she's going after Kinsey Smith, the defensive specialist, and Kinsey just passed a really good ball. They were able to run the middle. So Duke's going to be focusing on how they can side out here on a perfect pass. Obviously, if the ball's out of system, they're going to be forced to go to a pin. But what offensive runs are they going to go with here? They've been really effective in the middle, and Lauren Klein has been extremely effective on the right side for them as well.
Blue Devils will break their huddle last. Coach Nagel and company starting to feel the heat in this set. They have been in the driver's seat most of the way here, trying to lock it down and send us to set number 4. 24-23 as the senior Caffrey has the serve. Sends it deep and Duke wins the set. The Duke Blue Devils win the third set, 25-23. To number 4 we go right after this break. A 5-set victory over Oregon, a 4-set loss against St. John's, and a 4-set loss against Hofstra. This is a Blue Devil team that has had to go the distance. Meanwhile, Florida State is used to playing these straight set contests. That is deep, and Duke has the first point of the 4th set.
Right, you can go twofold with that. Is Duke more experienced in longer game situations, or are they more worn down physically because they've had to play more sets? Versus Florida State, are they fresher, but do they not have the necessary experience to pull out these 5-setters when needed, especially on the road?
Right up front, Florida State will get the point back as Emma Clothier earns the kill. Clothier has been a top-billed member of the FSU cast in this one. Solid dig from Tessier.
We're really seeing excellent play from 2 freshman middles here tonight. Lizzie Fleming for Duke and Emma Clothier for Florida State. But that time, Jasmine Martin pulls out the setter hands and delivers the ball to Morgan Chacon. Great play out of system there for Florida State.
You would expect to see Chacon's role step up here in this 4th set. Owoken-Niren gets it by the blockers and ties the set at 2.
Right, Morgan Chacon, much like Peyton Caffrey, is a 6-tool outside hitter. She can pass, play defense. She's extremely smart attacking. She's got off-speed shots. She can go off the block, and she can swing for power. She should be a big cast member here, subbing back in and playing all the way around in the 4th set.
Owoken-Niren opened up the season with a tremendous game against Michigan State. She had 20 kills against the Spartans as FSU scores here.
Looks like Florida State is pretty sure that ball got touched by a Duke player.
Well, the point is up for FSU here.
Looks like the officials are overruling.
Duke scores it. 3-2. FSU has the lead. You can make it 4-2 now. Oh, well, wait.
I think they have the score.
The scoring got thrown off there.
A little bit, yes. I think the score is correct now, even though they gave that last point to Duke. Balancing it back out 3-3 here on a tough service error from Owoken-Niren.
So we're all square and ready to go. Scoreboard fixed as Cole sets this one up for Nazer. A little soft play on the far side. Blue Devils will score as that ball just does drift out of bounds to the left side.
Great placement there by Lauren Klein on the slide. We've seen her swing for power, and she did that earlier in the rally, but then she switches to the off-speed shot. She gets the Florida State defense off balance and scores the point.
Fleming, not particularly cleanly received on the serve, and the Blue Devils back on the attack. Into the middle, awkward play, but the Blue Devils will get the point as Lily Cooper finishes over the net.
Cooper using all of that 6'6" frame there to connect and swipe that ball just around the block. You see it's not the most clean connection, but she passes it just by Taryn Canute, the big blocker for Florida State.
That is a thunderous downhill spike from Chacon. She'll get the kill.
Big time swing there from Chacon. She goes after that jumbo ball. We've seen Gracie Johnson from Duke hit a few times tonight. She just uses her full reach and her full power there, opening up and finishing for a great kill.
Chacon quiet for the most part of the evening. Second on the team in kills coming into the contest with 70 behind Caffrey. Strong block there. Blue Devils return fire. And the same result. Yeah,
definitely difficult swing there for Lauren Klein. She isn't able to get a full approach or transition. She places that ball into the low seam. It's an ill-advised swing that Taryn Canute takes full advantage of for Florida State.
An FSU block once again rearing its head in this contest. Canute just pushes it over. Here's a chance for the Blue Devils. Wasn't the strongest of connections, and Florida State will get the point.
That's a fast switch, smart play by there by Canute. She sees the digs coming a little bit tight. She gets two hands on it and finishes pushing it over the net.
Adrian Eli, 15 aces last season. Wilkeneeren, she'll finish it this time. A rare misplay by Canute, just right off that inside hand.
Rare misplay, especially coming off of a play Florida State probably didn't expect to see a whole lot tonight. Adia Wilkeneeren out of the back row. They run that much higher than Florida State does. The timing is a little bit different. She's able to hit it off of the blocker.
That was a little best-on-best play there. 6-6. The Blue Devils play it soft and score. Take a look at this one again. This is a very smart play as Cooper goes up with Gracie Johnson. Eli out far side. Chacon. Looked like that grazed off of Cole for the point for Florida State.
Yep, touch off a defender and touch at the net there. They call Samantha Amos in the net for Duke as well. You know, coming out at 7-7, we expected to see Florida State come out really strong, kind of playing fast and furious in retaliation for dropping that third set, and I don't think it's really happened yet. Morgan Chacon is playing strong, but Florida State still seems like they're willing to grind this out with Duke instead of establishing, dominating them.
They're going bit for bit. Florida State is going to get the point here. Those are those errors that Duke has to minimize if they want to come back.
And I think Duke's had a hand in keeping Florida State off balance. They're serving well from behind the service line when they place the ball in. Keeping Florida State out of system, the ball control isn't quite what it needs to be.
Weren't able to get to their offense on that try, and Caffrey makes them pay.
When Florida State's in system, when they can run what they want to, especially with Caffrey, it is absolutely disgusting. The swing is incredible. She steps, closes right there. There's a huge gap in the block. She could drive a truck through it, and she puts it away.
Kind of hung in the air for a split second. The Blue Devils are discombobulated again. Florida State stretches the fourth set lead to 3 at 10-7.
Tough miscue there. Looks like Duke's subbing out Adia Wilkeneeren for Kinsey Smith, looking for that extra bump in ball control to control it a little bit better. Let's see if it pays off and they're able to break this Florida State run right now.
Chacon on the serve. Smith cleanly receives it. And a great finish on the outside by Samantha Amos.
She's subbed in and she's made an impact on this match, attacking and blocking wise. She's slowing down the Florida State outside hitters, especially on the double block, and she takes a big swing right there, puts it away when Duke needs it, cuts the lead to just 2.
And a tip of the cap to Jolene Nagel for bringing in Kinsey Smith there. She's the one who has to receive that serve, does so cleanly. And starts things going for the Blue Devils before they give it right back.
Very strategic substitution. Really, both sides, Coach Chris Poole and head coach Jolene Nagel for Duke, are doing a great job utilizing their subs, utilizing their defensive and serving specialists to gain an advantage here.
11-8, Florida State has the lead. Cole fields this serve cleanly. Play at the net as the Blue Devils will keep it going. Eli to the far side. Caffrey switch direction and try to soft play. Wilkeneeren off of the fingertips, not a whole lot of power. Here's Caffrey again, and she gets it.
She leaves no doubt there. She puts that ball perfectly down the line. Duke has a defender, Alex Springate, stationed there, but it just goes over and around her.
Florida State 12, Duke 8 in the fourth set. Critical moments for the Blue Devils coming up next. Welcome back to Cameron Indoor Stadium. Drew Blevins alongside of C.J. Hunter. Florida State 12, Duke 8 in this fourth set. Florida State leading the set count 2-1. Madison Sullivan, senior libero, will serve. Goes down the outside line. Here's Amos downhill. Dug out by Eli, but Florida State Cannot keep the play going as the ball leaks back onto Duke's side. And once again, it's Samantha Amos who is stopping the Seminole runs, and now Duke's going to need one of their own to get back into this set.
Alex Springate as a setter is making some great decisions. She's reversing the flow. She's making a decision that the defense for Florida State isn't expecting and getting that ball to Samantha Amos in really good situations.
Caffrey again. And she has turned it up a notch in this fourth set once again. She's by far the best player on the floor for Florida State in the third set, even though they lost that one. And here she is putting this team on her back and making the plays necessary to win in set number 4.
Right, she's making it happen through sheer force of will a lot of times. And she's leading Florida State here to this 4-point lead.
Springate pushed it forward, but here's Capri again. This time she's denied. It's Amos and Fleming who combined for the block on the far side.
And you can tell Samantha Amos is hyped up there. You see on this big block, it's an out-of-system ball. It's high. The block has time to get set up. They press together and finish back into Florida State's court.
It's a strong defensive showing for the Blue Devils. Jolene Nagel, the teachable moment here. That serve is out. And the errors are starting to creep back up on the Blue Devils. FSU 11 points from taking this opening match of ACC play.
Right, when you have a huge momentum play like that stuff block from Samantha Amos, you don't want to follow it up with a service error that just cuts into your ability to make a lead and build points.
And there is a pass that goes back over top the net. Florida State will gain a point off of it, 15-10.
Caffrey again from behind the service line, just doing damage to Duke. She gets them out of system again here, and Duke's forced to a back row attack.
But they'll get away with it. Up the middle, Gracie Johnson. And that was right on the button at Lily Tessier.
A little bit of a freshman mistake there from the middle, Emma Clothier. She gets up there and she just doesn't quite wait and hold long enough in that window to stuff that block.
Wokaniran, knuckleball serve. That pass gets a little tight again. Florida State will survive it. Ball squeezes in between the blockers.
Smart swing from Chacon right there. She just squeezes it in between the blockers. You know, when the block isn't formed well enough and that ball's really fast out to the pins, you have time and you have a lot of options to use the block as your first scoring option.
Roberts serving from the far side. Cleanly fielded on the back line. Blue Devils need to get the attacking going. Poked back. Caffrey puts it high in the air. They're going to survive this go-round. Kenzie Smith on the floor, diving to keep the play alive. Good point going here. Blockers are ready. Caffrey to Chacon. Soft serves it and puts it down.
Brilliant shot there by Chacon. She recognized that the big campfire spot in the middle of the floor was open for Duke. She takes a full big approach. She gets her feet there. She has the full windup. You think she's swinging, and she just drops and lets that roll shot come off her hand at the last second. Brilliant disguise there.
Chacon only a redshirt freshman, and Duke had to
early running.
Cracking his smile and every now and then a wry grin. But just as quickly as she can break character, she's got that competitive gaze that goes right back on. She's been a force to say the least.
She has. She's definitely the kind of player that you hate having to play against, but you would love to play with. Just somebody that gets the job done and leads the team by your own sheer force of will no matter what's happening.
Roberts will serve as soon as the clock ticks down to triple zeros, and it does. 17-11, Florida State in the lead in this fourth set. They win the set, they win the match, and they'll pack it up and head to Winston-Salem for a battle with Wake Forest on Sunday. Smith cleanly fields this one. The FSU blockers are there. Once again, Canute. It's out of bounds. Jazz Martin who got the last touch on that ball. And the Blue Devils down 5 in the set, starting to sense the pressure. Rally time for the Blue Devils if they want to keep this game going.
Exactly. You're in a position you can't trade points with Florida State. You've got to at least go 2 for 1 with them here. If you're trading side outs, then Florida State wins the set here. So you've got to start building a run, building some momentum.
Canute puts it right into the chest of the blockers. It falls on the Blue Devils side of the net. 18-12 Florida State. Adrian Eli right in the middle of the Blue Devil offense. Duke will give it back. Chacon finishes. And after she was taken out in sub-4 in the third set, she's been consistent on that outside. And here she is again. Chacon free swinging onto the back line.
Right, just like Caffrey, Chacon's only 5'11", 6 feet tall, but you can't give her much. If you give her anything, she's going to take advantage and really go after it.
Blue Devils can't rally here, and it's slipping away from Duke, 20-12 FSU.
Yeah, tough to see the hustle not pay off from Duke there, at least getting the ball over and making Florida State play that one more contact. But Florida State's just kind of locked in and it's clicking right now on offense.
Duke with no timeouts left. They can't rally the troops. And that is a misplay by Kinsey Smith. Well-placed serve by Adrian Eli. 21-12 as FSU is almost up double digits in this set.
Right, we're going to see Adia Wilkaniran check back in. Look to see if she attacks out of the back row. She's had some success there doing that for Duke.
Nothing doing there for the Blue Devils again. They tried to use the height of Lily Cooper, and the sophomore never got a good handle on it. And you can kind of feel the air being let out of the building as this set drags on. Cooper, dug out by Eli. Duke gets a return chance, and they'll score.
Really smart play there from Gracie Johnson. You'll see a lot of attackers go up and swing at that overpass, but she felt Taryn Canute had both hands up in her face. She knew that going with the swipe off the block and sending it towards the sideline would be a much better option, and she scores that way.
22-13, FSU up in this fourth set. The Blue Devils' best hope is a 9-point scoring rally.
I'll tell you, though, that on the serve of Alex Springate, it's a possibility. She has a nice low flat serve, much like Mackenzie Cole.
Cleanly received, but Florida State cannot put it over the net as Canute gets tied up.
It was a great pass by libero Madison Sullivan. She's done a good job of keeping Florida State in system for the most part tonight. Just a little bit of a misconnect there between Canute and her setter.
Springate serving again, product of Alton High School. Chacon can't finish on this go-round. Here's a chance for the Blue Devils. Cleanly fielded by Sullivan. Over the middle, and Florida State finishes. Right down Broad Street, Marissa Stockman.
Beautiful swing by Stockman right there. She felt that the blocker was kind of taking away that right side of the court for her, so she just cuts the ball over her shoulder, scoring the point to Area 1.
Had 259 kills last year for Illinois State. Duke uses brute force. 23-15.
Right, you see here, Samantha Amos is going to get up on top of this ball. She's got a lethal left arm. She's up way high, and it's just too much for the Florida State defender to handle right there.
Gracie Johnson has had an admirable night for the Blue Devils. Good dig by Duke. Crowd starting to get into it. Amos blocked at the line.
That's what happens when you are a great blocking team. Their hands are pressed far over the net. They're into Duke's space in the net, and that set just goes way too tight. Samantha Amos isn't able to do anything, even swipe it off of the block for the score.
Match point for FSU, and Madison Sullivan serve. Hard and low just across the net. Owokaniran can't extend it. Eli with a dig. Caffrey winds up and fires and wins it for Florida State.
As appropriate, Peyton Caffrey right there.